Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the Northern California Home Gardening channel. Gardening is made easy. So we are going to be looking at Japanese maple. This is called a bloodgood Japanese maple. Look at the nice leaves actually. So this is an accent tree in the front yard. So it can grow up to 15 to 20 feet. It's a beautiful Japanese maple. So one of the things I purchased is because I wanted to put it in the front yard. And there's a lot of different Japanese maples. So one thing you need to understand is, so there are two Japanese maple that can tolerate full sun and can be trained in full sun. So the one is what you're seeing in front of me. This is the bloodgood Japanese maple, and the other one is coral bark. So it has got a red bark, and then it has got green leaves. So that is also a beautiful accent tree. So that can go in the front yard, and it will improve the home value of your house actually when you kind of plant these trees. It's kind of beautiful actually. It's more of a classic look, and so it can grow in full sun to partial shade, and then it can grow up to 15 to 20 inches tall, and so spacing should be 15 inches from the center in the group, and so it can grow from 5 to 9 zones. So zones 5 to 9 it can be kind of trained, and it's called bloodgood Japanese maple. So it does have a good color actually all season long, with the nice this is a magenta kind of color, and then it turns into bright scarlet in the fall, and reddish bark during the winter months. So this is what we're going to plant today, and I just wanted to have this plant in my front garden because I have a lot of green leaves actually, evergreen plants, and I wanted to have a contrasting color, and this one really would work really well. So I want to plant this, and so let's go ahead and get it planted. So if you look at the plant, the width of the plant, so it's almost, if you look at it, it's around 11 inches, and if you look at the height, it's about around 9 inches or so. So what I've done is I've already dug the hole. So the hole has to be double the size of the plant actually, so that so it's almost 20 inches if you look at it, and the height was around 19 or 20 inches. A little bit more should be okay. So that should be good enough. So once you have dug the hole, so what you do is you got to pull it out from the pot. So what you do is you just push it down here with your hand, so that the soil can nicely loosen up. So you can stamp on your feet, or you can push it with your hand gently. So this will make sure that the soil loosens up, and then you just pull it out gently, so it will come off nicely. It will come off. This is what it is actually. So if you look at it, so what you do is with your hands, right, gently do the liberation. So this is called liberation. So slowly do the liberation. So the liberation is something that you do once in a lifetime of the plant. This is required because once it comes out of the pot, so the roots kind of need to spread actually. It's all contained inside the pot for a long time. So look at all these roots and all that, right? You want the roots to start growing with the new environment. So that's why what you do is gently just do a loosen up of these things. Don't do it too much actually. Roots may be a little delicate actually. So if the roots are entangled, right, you can take a pruners and then you can slowly cut it actually, so that yeah. So look at these roots here. So I'm going to just loosen up a bit. This process is called liberation. So liberating it from the pot before it goes into the ground, kind of gets the roots will start growing. All right, so what I've done is I have already liberated it. So look at all these roots and all that, right, which is all kind of entangled inside, and then I was able to liberate it out. And at the bottom also actually the roots will kind of spread inside. That's why I've done it. So if you look at the change in the color here, one more thing I wanted to observe. So the change in color here, so this is exactly the level in which it has to kind of go to the ground, right? So that's very important. And then the other important thing is, if you look at this tree, I'll show you another important thing. So look at this area, right? So you don't want this to kind of get damaged by the sun. So what you do is this area, so this area, make sure that this is not facing south, because south will have direct sun. So make sure that this area, or if it is like a grafted tree, then also make sure that if the grafting is done this way, then make sure that it doesn't face the south actually, because it may get damaged by the direct sun. So now obviously, I have dug a pretty big hole into it. So I have to put the soil first, because otherwise it will kind of go inside. So first you need to fill up the soil. So when you fill up the soil, you make sure that you put the native soil first, right? Because it has to get used by the native soil. That's important. And this is an acidic loving plant. So I'm going to put native soil first. So this is my native soil. That's what I'm going to put it. Small stones are okay. Don't put any large stones. Take it out because it may block the roots. But small stones, let it get used to it. Like these kind of small stones are okay. If it's naturally there in the soil, just put them in. Put enough soil now. Just spread it out. Like this. Need to make sure that when you plant it, right? So this is my ground level. The other important thing you need to understand is this is the ground level. And if you look at this ground level, it's kind of in a slope. So I'm expecting the water to kind of flow like this, and the water will come and kind of stagnate. So you want to make sure that this does not get impacted by root rot, because if the water stagnates, right, get impacted by the root rot. So you make sure that when you plant this, it's at least 1 inches above the ground level. Have 1 inches if it is especially in the low lying area. You want to make sure it's at least 1 inches above the ground level. If it is in the hilly area, it's okay because the water is going to go drain down. Otherwise, it may get root rot. I have had impacts in the past where it has root rot, where it's a low lying area, it goes all the way inside. So make sure that it's above 1 inches above the ground level, right? And this soil will also get compacted quite a bit actually in the long run. I'm going to throw this stone away. So it will go inside actually. So make sure that it doesn't really go inside, and ensure that it is staying above the ground level, which is important. Okay, look at this now actually. So I just put a stick here to measure how it is. So look at this area transitioning, and it's exactly almost 1 inches above the ground. This level right here is exactly 1 inches above the ground. So this is good enough. So this side is facing the north. It's not directly facing the sun. So it's actually good now, and I'm going to just fill in the soil. So now I'm going to just throw in all the soil, rest of the soil into it. This is the native soil that came from the pot. So you always throw this in the top. So what happens is when you throw this in the top, so the not the native soil, the soil that came in the pot, which is full of nutrients, and I want to make sure that this thrown in the top, so that all the nutrients, when you put water, it all goes inside. I'm going to take this entire soil, I'm going to throw it on the top. Let's take it and nicely spread it out. If you look at it, this tree has been planted now on the ground. So exactly the transition where I told you, that's exactly where it is gone inside the ground. And I put a lot of good soil on the top, so that I had some soil which I basically put it on the top. So it's been planted now. So if you look at it, it's slightly above the ground level, so that the water doesn't stagnate and it doesn't get a root rot, right? And by the way, spring or winter is the right time to plant this. So let's see what is the next step here. So once it's done, what you do is you leave about 18 to 12 inches, and then you put a stake actually, because it needs some support actually in the initial days. So I'm going to leave about 18 inches right here. It's about it's about 10 inches. So I'm going to just take it out and put it a little bit outside here. So I'll just put it right here. Put it here. Yeah, make sure that once you hit it, so if you shake it, it should not, it can slightly vibrate, but it's okay. So what you do. Also going to do the same thing on the other side also, exactly horizontal to that. I'm going to put another one of the tie ropes. You can use tie rope if you don't have this one. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, insert it right here, and I'm just going to connect it here, right here. I'm going to take the screw. You can either use a tie rope or you can use one of these if you can purchase it. So I'm going to just bolt it to this thing, to this wood structure. It kind of helps as a grip, nice grip. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side also. So you can remove these stakes actually probably in about you just give it another 6 months to 1 year. After that you can remove it. That's a nice grip actually. So just what you do is, as soon as you plant this, kind of water it nicely actually. So give it at least 2 gallons of water, and slowly it has to drip actually. See that water should not be overflowing. So just put water. All the water kind of goes, it has to sink inside actually to the roots, because it's gotten a shock now. You need to make sure that even a small drip is okay. If we do a drip, the idea is the water has to go inside and kind of nicely sink into the roots. So slowly put the water. Once you water it, actually what you do is you basically put the mulch nicely, spread it across, and then leave about 4 inches. And so the mulch has to be in a donut shape. So you have to leave from the trunk, you have to leave at least 3 to 4 inches. It shouldn't be covering the trunk, very important. That's all for today actually. So you saw how to plant a beautiful blood good Japanese maple, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do click a like, and if you're new to this channel, please do subscribe. I will see you soon in another video. Thank you. Bye.